My favorite part of a new playthrough is thinking about what Pokemon I'm going to use on my journey. But what if it wasn't up to me? In today's video, I let my Twitch chat decide what Pokemon I would be using. The rules are simple. I can only catch the first Pokemon I encounter on a route, and then my Twitch chat will decide whether or not that Pokemon will join the team. I must nickname all of my Pokemon, and if that Pokemon faints, they're gone. Let's get into it. As with all new Pokemon journeys, we get to pick our starter. And for this playthrough, they're randomized. Chat decides to go with Zygarde, the ground dragon type, and we name it Groggy after a new member in the community. Our first encounter is a Shuckle, and you know what they say, don't mess with a Shuckle. In Sandalwood Forest, we encounter a Swablu that has speed boost. This thing is going to be a menace. Strolling into Route 3, our encounter is the legendary beast, Suicune. And this is no ordinary Suicune. This Suicune has motor drive, making it immune to all electric type attacks, meaning its only weakness is to grass. What an incredible start to this challenge. This team is looking amazing. We have one final encounter before we take on the first gym, and that's at Route 22 where we find Leafeon that we name Kale. We strut into the first gym with our powerful team where we quickly dispatch Viola's Ninetales with Groggy. Sliggoo falls shortly after, and Viola reveals that she has her own legendary Tornadus. With priority extreme speed, we're able to two-shot her Tornadus before it causes a problem. We quickly destroy the rest of her team, and the first gym badge is ours. After our victory, we head to Route 4, where we find one of my favorite Pokemon, Mew. Our team is looking stacked. We absolutely decimate Professor Sycamore's team, and chat votes to take on Muck to the squad. But now that we have a team of 6 Pokemon, chat has the duty to vote off a member of the team if they want to add the Muck. Chat breaks the cardinal rule and messles with a Shuckle, voting him off in place of Gloop, our new Muck. Little Bo Peep lost her sheep, but it's okay because I found it. Chat votes off Gloop for the fan favorite Mareep, who we name Maple. One of my favorite things about streaming is interacting with chat, but today they got me talking about one of my favorite animes, Jujutsu Kaisen, and I completely missed the fact that Aegislash went for a Destiny Bond, and I proceeded to knock it out, costing Groggy his life. To fill his spot, we caught a Magnemite, which I lost the clip for, I apologize. And then on Route 6, we find a Woobat, which didn't woo anybody in the chat, as they vote to keep the team the same. Pushing on to Route 7, we find a Poliwag, another water type for this beastly team, as Magneto gets voted off for Polyswag. We do some caving where we find an Umpheasant, but chat has no interest in Umpheasant and votes it right off the team. I've never been much of a fisherman, but catching this Kingdra makes me think that I should get into it. Chat couldn't decide whether to vote off Stellar or Polyswag, so as the official tiebreaker, I decided to remove Polyswag, welcoming Saphira to the team. Our next couple of encounters didn't have what it took to impress the chat. RIP to Parasect and Pawniard. I think Pawniard had a good chance, except for the fact it doesn't evolve until level 40, so chat wasn't into it. This is where chat finally betrays me. In Glittering Cave, we encounter a Tropius. Not a bad Pokemon, not at all, but by one singular vote, chat votes off our speed-boosting Swablu, which would have been an Altaria after this gym. Unbelievable. Grant opens with a Corsola, who is quickly deleted by Saphira's Seed Flare, didn't even stand a chance. Grant then tries to impress us with his well-groomed Furfrou, but Saphira gets it wet using Dive and takes it out. Thinking he has a type matchup, Grant sends in his Cleffa, but I swap straight into Stella, who proves to be too much for Cleffa and knocks it out with a Psybeam. Grant breaks out the big guns and reveals Mega Houndoom. Seeing the danger, I introduce him to Freya. Houndoom stands no chance as he falls to Freya with a single Scald. Stella comes back out to take care of Grant's Dusknoir and Abomasnow, wrapping up the second gym battle with Grant, giving us our second gym badge. We make it to Sillage City where we fish up a Watchog who is immediately voted off, no surprise there. On Route 10, we find an insane randomized horde. Immediately, the Mamoswine is catching my eye, an absolute monster of a Pokemon, but the Aegislash in the horde goes for Searing Shot, burning the Mamoswine, causing it to be eliminated before I can catch it, so I settle for the Wind Chime Pokemon, Chimecho, and Banana makes way for Ring, the Chimecho. Route 11 gives us a Kricketot. Chat wasn't impressed. We continue into Reflection Cave where we encounter another horde. I make the decision to catch Licky Licky, and chat votes off Ring. That wasn't all for this cave, unfortunately. While trying to train Maple, I'm caught by surprise as a Heatmore goes for Blast Burn, leaving only ashes behind. RIP Maple, you will be missed. Still reeling from the loss of Maple, we get another encounter on Route 12, where we catch Martina, the Zebstrika. With our newly filled squad, we take on Karina. It's last call for Spinda as Saphira quickly knocks it out. Boo finishes off a Scizor, and Karina has had enough playing around and brings out her Mega Aerodactyl. Martina knows no fear and knocks it out with Gear Grind. Looking to slow down the game, Karina brings out the Great Wall of Lugia. With Quiver Dance, Freya is able to set up and spam Shockwave for a knockout on the Lugia. Seeing that there's nothing she can do, Karina sacks off her Cascoon to Saphira and then brings out her last Pokemon, Matang. Stella comes in, spams Magma Storm, and Matang drops for the win and our third gym badge. Karina's rebellious Lucario joins my team, but it's actually Ampharos. Using the power of Mega Evolution, Super Saiyan Maple destroys the Mega Gyarados, and chat votes off Martina, the Zeb Striker, to make way. But I will note that some members of chat did vote for Super Saiyan Maple, proving that they do hate me. We then fish up a spunky looking Spheal, but it's quickly returned to the sea as chat votes to keep the team the same. After traversing his jungle gym, we take on Ramos, the 4th gym leader. Boo quickly takes out the baby Helioptile, and Stella cleans up Girder and Spinda. Kale misses a huge Icicle Crash and nearly dies to a crit Thunder from Rotom-Mow. Playtime's over, so I bring out Super Saiyan Maple, who destroys that Rotom-Mow. Ramos brings out their problematic Swanna, who continued to spam Hurricane and confuse me, so I had to switch out of Super Saiyan Maple and into Freya. Freya quickly takes out the Swanna with no problem. Ramos breaks out his secret weapon, Mega Pinsir. I rely on some hacks going for a Scald Burn, and today I got lucky. I get the burn, and Mega Pinsir is rendered useless. Ramos goes down for our 4th gym badge. After leaving Tourmaline City, we encounter a Lantern, but chat isn't feeling it and deletes it right away. Shortly after, we're confronted by Team Flare. Their Gengar quickly sets up 2 layers of Toxic Spikes, which could prove problematic for my team. Boo knocks out the Gengar. Next up, it's Stella versus Lucario. Stella unfortunately forgot their glasses at home and missed 3 Magma Storms in a row. Too much damage was done, and I was forced to let Stella go down as Lucario hangs on with 1 HP. Boo comes in to knock out the Lucario using extreme speed, and then relying on Treat Tricks, this Flare Grunt has Arena Trap Tentacruel, which forces me to leave in Boo, who is badly poisoned. Boo falls to the Toxic Stall, and I send in Maple to revenge kill the Tentacruel. Saphira knocks out the Walrein with Seed Flare, and now it's down to Kale versus Wigglytuff. With a severely weakened team, Kale needs to come up big. I go all out with a Wood Hammer into the Wigglytuff, but it's not enough. We lose Kale, and Maple comes in one more time to clean up the battle. We're victorious, but we suffered heavy losses. We backtrack to an encounter that is now available because I have the Fishing Rod. The game sees that I am on the front row of the struggle bus and gives me a Thundurus. I don't risk anything, and I use the Master Ball that I found laying on the side of the road to make sure that we get to capture no funny business here. A kind soul on Route 12 gives us an Infernape, and we restore a fossil that we found earlier into a Celio. While challenging the 5th gym, we are faced with a Mega Latios. I have the brilliant idea not to Mega my Ampharos to avoid the Dragon-type matchup, but without the extra bulk of Mega Ampharos, I lose Maple to a Mud Shot crit from Mega Latios right before the gym leader. Devastating. Clement opens with a Heliolisk. Wukong laughs in his face as he one-shots with Force Palm. Clement has an ace up his sleeve though, and sneakily goes for a Water Spout from Electros, which thankfully we survived due to earlier damage. Freya comes in for backup and swiftly takes care of the Electros. Next, we have Haku versus Dragalge. I miss a huge Frost Breath, which allows Clement to heal his Dragalge for free, and now I miss the knockout, and Dragalge takes me out with a Dragon Rush. Clement heals Dragalge again like a coward, but Zeus is tired of the games and crits with Aeroblast. Zeus knocks out Clement's ace Togekiss, and Fortress falls to Freya with no problems. Clement is now down to Stunfisk, and because Freya has Motor Drive, we are not scared. Staying in, Freya knocks out the Stunfisk with Scald, and the 5th gym badge is mine. With a team in need of fresh recruits, we find a Hippopotas and a Pampor in Laver City. The next gym leader is Valerie. She apparently forgot this is a randomizer and starts with her Ditto, possibly the worst Pokemon in any Pokemon randomizer. Saphira eliminates the Ditto with a single Surf, and Parasect meets a similar fate from Saphira's Oblivion Wing. With her trash out of the way, Valerie turns up the heat and brings out a Nidoking who barely survives the Surf and hits us with 1,000 waves. Nidoking reveals the ability Moody, which causes wild stat changes every turn. To my dismay, Nidoking gets lucky and gets an evasion boost right off the bat, which could be a problem, except Saphira just got their new glasses and has no problem hitting Nidoking with a Surf for the knockout. Valerie's Crobat somehow survives a Thunder Punch from Zeus, so I'm forced into Motomoto to finish the job. We take advantage of Motomoto's Harvest ability, eating a Key Berry to boost my defense and then taking care of Klinklang with 1,000 waves. Cobalion's Doom Desire scares me out of Motomoto, and I send in Moist to take one for the team, but Moist shouts, "Not today!" and survives. I switch back into Motomoto, who finishes it off Cobalion with 1,000 waves and wraps up our 6th gym badge, Let's go. Deep in Flair's hideout, we're challenged to an onslaught of double battles where we unfortunately lose Panpour, the most moist monkey to ever exist. Wukong is able to Horn Leech this Clawitzer for some HP back, which keeps us out of Brian's power-up range, and we're able to live on 3 HP. Then Serena's Mega Ampharos knocks out the Clawitzer, and Wukong will live to see another battle. Picking up the pieces from Flair's hideout, I find myself on Route 15, where I encounter a Swanna. Traversing into Ice Cavern, we encounter a Gourgeist, who we catch in chat chooses to replace Dork the Swanna, but because I'm far away from a PC at the time, we continue to use Dork until we can make the switch. I see Team Flair bullying this Obamas though, deciding to break it up because no good deed goes unpunished, right? Wrong. This Team Flair grunt sends out a Mega Charizard X who deletes Zeus from this plane of existence using V-Create. Wrapping up the battle, Dork is facing Amanda Buzz, who has only spammed Leer up to this point until they reveal Stone Edge, decimating Dork and Gourgeist along with it. Wukong finishes off the Mandibuzz, but I'm forced into a risky play versus a Golem. Because of Golem's insane defense stat, I have no choice but to click a 70% accurate Focus Blast, and if I miss, Golem has a great chance to knock me out. But thankfully, we connect, one-shotting the Golem, another battle, but 2 heavy losses. Leaving the Ice Cavern, we find a Whismur on Route 17. I'm a huge X-Cloud fan, so I'm okay with this. We sneak into the Lost Hotel where we find a Metacham, but unfortunately, they lose their huge power ability due to the randomizer, so it's not as good as you would think. Our last encounter is Fortress, and with a tough decision, chat votes off Bruce the Metacham to make way for Jenny the Fortress. With the most insane gym decor that I've ever seen in a Pokemon game, we're taking on Olympia. She opens with a Luxray, which is quickly knocked out by Wukong. Next, she sends out her very on-brand Deoxys defense. We send in our own defensive powerhouse, Jenny, who knocks out the Deoxys using a flurry of attack orders. Her Electrode is still caught up in the Among Us meta and uses the ability Imposter to copy Jenny, which to her demise, Janet spits hot flames and blasts the fake Jenny out of our way. Olympia's Staraptor tries its best Wolf Glick impersonation and uses Perish Song. She's no world champion as Staraptor is knocked out by Janet's Technoblast. Olympia then resorts to even dirtier tricks and plays in my heartstring using one of my favorites, easy peasy, the Porygon Z. Freya is able to overcome the emotional roller coaster and takes out the Porygon Z with Scald. With grass types being Freya's only weakness, Saphira comes in to polish up Olympia's last Pokemon using Oblivion Wing. Meganium is the worst starter, by the way, don't at me. After wreaking havoc in his base, Lysandre confronts us for a head-on 6v6 battle. Opening with his Dragonite, I know this is no joke. Seeing that the Dragonite isn't using a Dragon-type move, I swap into Saphira, who's able to knock it out, and the Cloyster that came out after it. Lysandre brings in Mega Latias, who comes so close to knocking out Jenny, but through the power of love and friendship, Jenny holds on. Saphira comes back in and knocks out the Mega Latias with a Spatial Rend. Reuniclus proves to be a bit of a problem. I'm forced to sack off Janet to a Psyshock and Future Sight Wombo combo, and then Motomoto comes in to finish off the Reuniclus and barely holds on after another Future Sight. Kecleon takes a high jump kick to the chin, and Wukong finishes off the Weezing with a crit Lava Plume. Lysandre goes down. We take a quick break to go fossil hunting, and after hours of searching, I'm able to find one and restore it to Licky Licky. Welcome back, Boo! Descending into the depths of Team Flair's Doomsday Bunker, we're thrown into an intense legendary showdown facing down a Reshiram and a Xerneas. Boo is the clear threat and is focused down by Xerneas using Play Rough, and Reshiram connects with a Blizzard, immediately taking out our newest member, Boo. Freya comes in and is frozen by Reshiram, but it doesn't matter because we thaw using Scald and take out the Reshiram. Our partner's Hoopa is able to clean up the rest of the battle by connecting Thunder in the Sun, Shadow sneaking their Hoopa, and then their Xerneas is able to finish off a Roserade, all while I stall it with Jenny. The very next battle, still emotional from the loss of Boo, we're forced into another double battle, where I smack the opposing Sceptile with Lava Plume, but it's not enough as it's able to hold on and use Fairy Lock, which doesn't seem like a big deal, right? Well, Wukong tanks a Zen Headbutt from the Metacham, but now I can't switch out of Infernape due to the Fairy Lock, and I'm facing down 2 Psychic types. In a desperate attempt, I use Horn Leech into the Metacham to recover HP, but it's not enough as Xatu knocks me out with a Psychic. Freya comes in to clean up, but this is a huge loss for the team. Oh, this cutscene's crazy. It's like a Digi-Egg. Look at that! Yveltal's so sick! Bacon Bird! Oh. God, it's so cool. Oh, I love this thing. Here we go. What's our legendary gonna be? Look at this! So cool. And our legend's gonna be a Volcanion? What? I'll take that. Another water type, but I'll take that. Master Ball. L. F's. Chat, this is a Volcanion. After the devastation of Flare's hideout, I stroll into Route 18, where I'm greeted by the most insane horde that I've ever seen. I chose to let chat vote on the catch, and they decide on the Raikou. But now I have to catch it. Concerned with PP, I begin to fear a struggle showdown. I have one last attempt to capture the Raikou, but he breaks out and struggles to his death. The vacant slot on the team remains unfilled. Still recouping from the Team Flare hideout, we adventure into Terminus Cave, where Golduck drops down from the ceiling, begging to join the squad. While in Terminus Cave, we encounter a trainer who opens up with a Lapras. Not a big deal, right? Wrong! In my stream, we have a system known as Bounty Pokemon. On my layout, you can see there are 3 trading cards, including the Lapras. If any of these Pokemon are encountered in the battle or in the wild, we can defeat them and add them to the team. The chat decided to have Gilbert make way for Lapras, but since this was a Bounty Lapras, Gilbert will chill in the PC until his services are required again. After the excitement of Terminus Cave, we continue to Route 19. You call it luck, I'll call it skill, as I encounter a Darkrai. After freezing the Darkrai, I'm able to catch it. And to my dismay, chat votes off Moto to bring on Ryuk the Darkrai. I'm not saying I was rooting against Ringo, but I thought 2 legendaries was plenty. I'm not sure why our rival thought fighting on a bridge was a good idea, but here we are. I tried to show Serena my sweet new legendary Pokemon Darkrai, but she had other plans. In kamikaze fashion, her Snorlax uses Explosion on a bridge, taking Ryuk down with them. Sad. We collect our shattered dreams and add Gilbert back to the team. Just before taking on the 8th gym, we get some more encounters. First, we find a Celebi, which chat voted off Gilbert for, and Wasabi joined. Pushing further into the Pokemon village, we find a Chatot, but chat doesn't add them to the team. We challenge Wolfric by slapping bellies and getting into it. Lap Daddy makes quick work of his Landorus incarnate, and Tauros is no match for Jenny's love, and then Alakazam is overpowered by Saphira. With all the confidence in the world from facing a Garchomp earlier in the gym, Saphira stares down the Garchomp and goes for the Spatial Rend. I'm going to let the clip speak for itself. Crit, crit, crit. Oh! No! Why did I do this? Live, live, live! No! Saphira, why am I so stupid? Wasabi cleans up my mess against the Garchomp. My team quickly dispatches the remainder of Wolfric's team. But how can I live with myself losing Saphira like that? Restoring another one of our fossils, we get a Linoone. If you close your eyes and believe really hard, it's almost a good Pokemon. As a true glutton for punishment, I attempt another Horde encounter. And to my surprise, it's insane! 2 Kyogres, a Luxio, a Dewosian, and a Pidgey. And I let my Twitch chat vote for who he would catch. Chat unites against me and votes to catch the Pidgey, who then replaces Noodle on the team. It's time for the final encounter of the playthrough. One more chance to bolster the roster before the Elite Four, and our encounter is a Pupitar. Amazing. We can add a pseudo-legendary to the team before taking on the Elite Four. Awesome. But just when you think things are looking up, disaster strikes. You're not getting Freya. That's the thing. Like, I'm protecting Freya. Like, you're not getting Freya. That's just the thing. Like, I won't let you guys take Freya. No! 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 What was that? What was that? Oh. There's no way! Because I was the same level as the Pupitar, I was able to be hit by Guillotine, a one-shot move that only has 30% accuracy. Only I, IronBoffin, could lose the most important member of the team in such a fashion, right before the Elite Four. And to make things even worse, the Pupitar that took out our beloved Freya had the ability Normalize, a horrendous ability making all of their moves normal type. Showing us how far she's come as a trainer, Serena opens with a Mega Heracross. Immediately scaring out Wasabi, I switch in Jenny. to a 4 times super effective V-Create. Things are not looking good. The rest of our team is no problem, but now I'm left with an empty team slot going into the Elite Four. Or am I? My Twitch chat tells me that I missed an encounter at Sillage City. If I explore the town, there's some water where I'm able to surf and get an encounter. My entire run rests on this one encounter. And we're rewarded with a beautiful Empoleon who joins the team. Welcome, Kowalski, and with that, the team is ready to take on the Elite Four. The first member of the Elite Four that we take on is Wickstrom, and he tries to break my spirit right away by going for a fissure on Lap Daddy. Thankfully, we're able to dodge and connect with a Freeze Dry, knocking out the Seismitoad. Venusaur can't handle the Spice as Wasabi connects with a Side Strike, taking it out immediately. Scolipede is a speedy bug, but not fast enough to dodge Sweet Jams from Ringo. Don't judge a book by its cover as Barrel threatens Lap Daddy with a close combat, but misses. He must have had the ability Hustle, which boosts your attack power but lowers your accuracy. We play it safe and switch into Wasabi, who takes out Barrel with Side Strike. Lap Daddy scalds Donphan for a knockout, and Kowalski's status update tells me that the first member of the Elite Four is down. Malva Spiritomb is into roleplay, but that doesn't help here as we knock it out with a Play Rough. Swampert and Milotic fall to Lap Daddy's Freeze Dry, and Crustle tries to double team cheese us, but we're able to connect our waterfalls and deliver a knockout. Ringo doesn't want to miss the fun and knocks out Malva's Mawile and Linoon for the easy victory. 2 Elite Four members down. Next up is Drazna. Polly starts off with a quick knockout thanks to Choice Specs Aeroblast into her Conkeldurr. Stain the Tyranitar whittles down a surprisingly thick Dunsparce for another knockout. Seeing a Sawsbuck, I try to switch in Polly but unfortunately get paralyzed as Sawsbuck goes for Glare on the switch. Polly breaks through paralysis and connects with an Ice Beam, finishing off the Sawsbuck. Butterfree looks to set up with Tail Glow, but Ringo isn't ready for the show to end and goes for the Lava Plume, one-shotting the Butterfree. Drazna has had enough and sends in her ultimate weapon, Mega Mewtwo Y, who starts to use Stockpile to increase its defenses. Mega Mewtwo Y connects with a Land's Wrath into Ringo, who just brushed it off. Ringo finishes off the Mewtwo, and then it's down to Drazna's last Pokemon, Volcarona. After setting up a Sunny Day, weakening my Water-type attacks, Volcarona deals massive damage with Mystical Fire. I pivot back into Ringo, who wraps up the battle using Sun-boosted Lava Plume. Now there's only one member of the Elite Four in our way. Seabold! Seabold opens with a Shadow Tag Tentacruel, making it impossible for me to switch out of Polly. Attempting to conserve my Aeroblast, I spam Relic Song for respectable damage. Tentacruel shows us that he's been studying under Zekrom and hits us with multiple Fusion Bolts. But it's not enough as Polly sneaks out a huge knockout. Wasabi deletes Basculin using Horn Leech, and Lap Daddy strikes fear into a Fearow with Freeze Dry. Lap Daddy continues to dissect Seabold's team, knocking out Ursaring with Scald and Gastrodon with a Freeze Dry. Seabold's final Pokemon is Metagross. I pivot into Volcanion, who takes out the Metagross with ease. All 4 of the Elite Four members are now defeated, and it's time to challenge the champion, Diantha. Diantha leads with an Empoleon. I attempt Magma Storm with Polly and miss. Perfect. Great start. Bubble Beam does way too much damage, so I switch out into Wasabi, who takes care of the Penguin, no problem. Whoop is left stranded against Ringo and is knocked out by my Lava Plume. Trevenant is next in line for Ringo's sweet Lava Symphony, but holds on thanks to Sturdy. Phantom Force may buy Trevenant a turn, but it's also a free switch for us back into Polly, who takes out the Trevenant next turn with an Ice Beam. We give Stain a moment in the sun against Diantha's Bouffalant. After a War of Attrition, Stain takes out the Bouffalant with Diamond Storm. Floatzel comes out looking to take advantage of Stain's rock typing, but I quickly switch into Wasabi where the table turns in my favor. We eat a Water Pledge for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then deliver sweet dessert in the form of Energy Ball, taking out the Floatzel. Back against the wall, Diantha is down to her last Pokemon, and she brings out the one Pokemon that could potentially sweep me. But wait, this is a randomizer. Mega Blaziken will not have Speed Boost, unless I'm very unlucky. Celebi has a higher base speed than Mega Blaziken, so I stay in and deliver the final blow of the playthrough, Psy Strike. Mega Blaziken goes down in one hit, and I prove that I can beat a Pokemon Nuzlocke while chat decides what's on my team.